I'll get to the girls. Let me just start with like first grade and work my way up to what I remember. Kindergarten. No, let's take a step back. Preschool. I went to a place called the Learning Window in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. It was a Catholic preschool, and it was during that time I found out I hate ketchup. I probably told this story, so I'll make it short, but I was in a lunch line, preschool, and I saw all these kids getting this red liquid shit on their tray with fries and dipping it in them. And I was like, all I want are nuggets and fries, leave this red shit off the plate. So eventually I was like, you know what, let me try it, because everyone else is doing it. So I do that, and I wind up puking. Like, I wind up filling up my whole lunch tray, all the squares, with puke. My grandmother had to come get me, and ever since, the smell makes me goddamn gag. So, not to mention, like, my grandmother has a recipe for, like, the best baked beans on the planet, and one of the ingredients is ketchup, and it might as well be 900 gallons. But you can't taste it, and I know it's in there. I know there's a shit ton in there, but I just, like, turn my brain off and pretend. But they're so good. So that's, like, the only exception. So that's preschool. That's, like, the only important factor of preschool, I guess. First grade, St. Mary's Old Forge. That is also a Catholic school. There was a kid in my class. Wait, let me hold on before I get too into this here. There was a kid in my class named Ray Romano. It's almost like Everybody Loves Raymond. Or wait, it wasn't Romano. That's actually the guy's name. It was Ray something, but the kid's name was Raymond, and bottom line was, I sharpened a pencil and put it face up on his seat, and he sat on it and had to leave school, and I, like, got, I don't know, first grade suspension or something. And apparently the kid got, like, lead poisoning in his ass cheek. I wish I could make this up, by the way. So that was, like, my first deviant act in first grade. Sharpening a pencil and then forcing someone to sit on it. I was kind of a dick now that I think about it, because that probably fucking hurt. Second grade, I learned cursive, and the teacher was like a really heavy smoker. I got in a lot of trouble in that class as well. I did a lot of fucking around because I was... Here's the main problem here. I was always 100% one step ahead of, not the teacher, of course, but all the other students. So, like, the teacher would be like, hey, do this, this, and this, and then fucking put your head down. So I would do this, this, and this, and then my teacher would be like, so are you done? And then I'd be like, yeah, fucking check my shit, I'm done. So, I guess second grade, you know, there's not really much to tell, except I excelled so fast in cursive, I just fucked around a lot and got in a lot of trouble. I don't have any exact moments on what happened. But third grade, same school, St. Mary's Catholic. I had a nun for a principal and a nun for a teacher. And I farted in class, and the whole classroom, except for like 4 people, got up and walked out of the classroom. And I literally got kicked out of a Catholic school in 3rd grade. Not suspended, detention, warning. I got kicked out of 3rd grade Catholic school for farting in class, for being a disturbance and having kids fucking leave the room. Okay? My mom had to come get me in school, and she ripped my nun a new asshole. She's like, my son can't control his bodily functions. What do you expect him to do? And it was an absolute nightmare. And I don't remember if I was butthurt, pun intended, or if I was laughing my ass off. Probably the latter of the two. But I legitimately got kicked out of a Catholic school for farting in 3rd grade. And then... So that's 2 schools already. So, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, so for preschool was one place, and then Catholic school from 1st to 3rd. So there's 2 schools. 4th grade, I completely moved out of the area and went to Pittston area for 4th grade. Basically, that school was a lot of bros, and I got hit on by a boy named Jimmy, And I remember asking Jimmy, like, what he's doing. And my teacher, basically, I don't remember if it was detention or suspension, but this kid would not fucking leave me alone. He was like a fucking right up my ass 24/7. And of course, I was a little kid, I didn't know anything, so I loved it. Ew, Obi, that is disgusting. And I got like nothing accomplished. I got made fun of a lot because I was really fat. So except for Jimmy, a lot of people made fun of me and whatever else. I didn't really have like, I didn't go out of my way to make friends at that point. So Pittston area kind of sucked balls. And 4th grade was hard. Like, I don't know why, but 3rd grade was absolute joke, and 4th grade was fucking hard. I don't know why. I feel like I should have learned something else in 4th grade. I feel like I was learning fucking rocket science in 4th grade. Seriously, Kale, I don't even know. But, so that's 3 schools. And then 5th grade, I went to Old Forge and was a really big class clown, and that's when all the shit started going downhill. I had to be the center of attention. I had to make everybody laugh. Because coming from 4th grade, where I had no friends and everybody made fun of me, I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to make everybody like me, and I'm going to make them laugh. So, of course, I didn't have that thought process growing up. I was just like, what could I do to make these people laugh? So I would do shit like stick a lunchroom fork in the outlet and cause the power to go out in our classroom. Anthony, what are you doing? And then I would do stuff like tape plastic knives, forks, and spoons to the end of a race car. You know the race cars that you pull back and they fucking just shoot? I would tape with scotch tape or duct tape plastic forks and knives at the end of these race cars. I would zoom them all the way back and shoot them at my classmates' ankles. And I got in trouble for that. My teacher used to call me Pierre because I had no facial hair. I was really fat and tan. I wore a gold chain and one of those fucking gay hats I was talking about. And I always hated history. I don't know why. I was never a history buff. The way I looked at it growing up was, it fucking happened, who cares? Let's focus on now and move on. Everything is as it should be, and we can't change it, so why anything else? That was my thought process. It still kind of is. But I definitely respect and understand history a lot more now. Oh, my first girlfriend was in 4th grade. Her name was Stephanie. I don't remember her last name. I met her at the bus stop. I used to get Spice Girls lollipops every morning before school. Of course, that was my way of being cool with everybody, was I would buy a shitload of Warheads. And yeah, I said Warheads. Shitload of Warheads and Spice Girls lollipops, which, if you've never had a Spice Girls lollipop, you are truly missing out. Those things are so good, probably still to this day. So I would, like, it'd be like 7, 8 in the morning on a bus, and me and all these assholes would be eating Warheads, making faces. And that was my way of making friends, was buying them candy, being a complete sellout scumbag. So, Stephanie, I was with her, I feel like it was a month or some shit, who the hell knows. Of course it was 4th grade, it couldn't have been that serious. But, hold on, let me make sure. And she wrote a note and gave it to her friend and made her friend give it to me. And basically she's like, sorry, I'm breaking up with you, I like somebody else. And I was a little upset, and basically I was like, well, this bitch couldn't even tell me herself. She had her friend give me the note, so fuck you. Dark Zoma, what's up, homie? You came for storytelling time. So that was Stephanie, and back in 1st grade, she wasn't my girlfriend, but I had a huge crush on this girl named Jordan. Smoking hot, probably to this day still. And I also remember in was it preschool or 1st grade? It was actually, yeah, it was 1st grade. I remember when we were learning like 1 plus 4 and, 14 minus 9 and like flashcards, all for basic math. And I don't know if I was just born with like a math brain, but I fucking crushed it, dude. So basically, we were learning about Adam and Eve one day. I don't know how I forgot this, but we were learning about Adam and Eve one day, and what I remember was the teacher was like, okay, the first person to finish these 10 or 20 math problems and get them all right gets a lollipop. And they were the huge fucking like jawbreaker lollipops that you would drool over as a kid, right? Dude, first grade smoking hot. That's all I remember. Don't ask questions. So I was like maybe 4 out of 5 times always the first person done. I think that teaching style in itself defined the rest of my fucking learning style. It seemed like from that day on I was always trying to be the first person to not only rush to get stuff done, but to do it accurately. So I would always finish all these math problems, and I would just be sitting there, fucking bored, waiting for all these other noobs to finish their math. And I was just sitting there with like a grin, knowing that they were all right, knowing the lollipop's mine, again. And you don't really make friends that way. But that same day, we used to have to sing prayers and the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. I was like a fucking robot. So I don't even remember how it all transpired, but the teacher was talking about Adam and Eve, and I was like, wait a second. You mean to tell me that somewhere along these lines I'm related to Michael Jordan because we're all connected in some way? And I don't remember what her response was, but I basically called her bullshit like the first day. So I guess also worth saying that in 4th grade, between 4th and 5th grade, I was doing a side, I forget the actual term, but it was Catholic night classes basically, where you learned nothing except religion and Jesus. It was basically Jesus 101. And I absolutely hated that class so much. It was clear that it was force-fed bullshit, and I acknowledged it instantly. But for my parents, I kept the smile on, got like an A, kicked ass, just like everything else. And then, I feel like I'm missing so much, though. You guys don't even know some of the shit I've been through. So, 5th grade, I think that was 4 schools already. And then 5th grade, I moved to New York. A place called Horseheads, New York, which just sounds just as bad as it sounds. Made a lot of friends there, and that's when the metalhead phase started. I had every single Korn shirt that you could imagine. Korn was my favorite band for many, 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 many years. And I used to break the dress code 24/7. And basically my mom would get me all nice and dressed up in the morning, but I would have a Korn shirt on underneath it. And as soon as I would get off the bus, I would just represent my Korn shirt. And I remember to this day, I had a really ugly brown shirt, and it had one of the Follow the Leader kids with a disc jockey on it. It was like my favorite shirt, dude. I wore the shit out of it. So, I remember I'm trying to think. There was something with AOL when it first came out. I don't remember what grade I was in, but I remember my first screen name was Corncake 45. Kornkake 45. And then it was Eyes of Chaos 11. And I was in Horseheads, New York. Went to that school, made a lot of friends. It was interesting. And then halfway through 5th grade, I went to another school to finish 6th grade in New York. And that was in Rochester. So let's see, we have Learning Window, St. Mary's, Pittston, Old Forge, 2 schools. So by 6th grade, I was in 7 different schools, including the Catholic night school. So already by 7th grade, how many people did I meet and do whatever to and forget about? So that's that. And then 6th grade, left New York, came back to Pennsylvania, went back to Old Forge, and everybody's like, oh my god, Anthony Marino is coming back to our school. Like, it was the biggest fucking deal. I wish I could make this up. And my best friend of all time, he was mulatto. He was black and white. He had a white mom and a black dad. And I bashed on him for the longest time. And then my justification was, I don't hate black people. I grew up with somebody who was mulatto, which you can't even do that. But that's that. And Kirk and I, to this day, still talk. He literally lived one door away from me. He went through skateboarding with me. He went through the rap phase with me. He went through the wigger phase with me. We did it all together. And I think now he went to the military and stuff, and he came back, and I don't know. He's still like a really good kid, and I love his whole family. They're really cool. But I used to love hanging out with that kid so much, dude. I was like, how Jimmy was with me, I was like that with Kirk. I would eat, sleep, and breathe this kid, and it's like I had nothing else to do or no other friends to do it with. So I would lay, I guess to paint a picture, imagine walking out of your front door, and then to your left is a house, and then next to that house on the left is Kirk's house. So it was me, stranger, and Kirk. So in all three of the backyards, it was one giant backyard. So if you were standing in my backyard, you could see past my neighbor's house into Kirk's backyard. So I used to, no shit, lay in my backyard on a towel like this for hours waiting for him to come outside and play with me. I was so pathetic. He had a trampoline, and we used to have wrestling matches on his trampoline. And we would invite this kid, who also his name was Anthony. We used to invite him over to Kirk's house after school, literally just to beat him up on the trampoline. And he had no friends, and now that I'm thinking about it, I was such an asshole. He had no friends, and our justification was, alright man, you can hang out with us, but we're literally going to beat the shit out of you every single day after school. So we would play make-believe wrestling on the trampoline. So I used to like Stone Cold Steve Austin in The Rock. So I would literally give this kid stunners off the trampoline. Like, Kirk would hold his ankles, and I would fucking stun this kid off the trampoline, like, not even thinking about hurting him, and just doing it. And then we would have, like, hardcore matches where we would just, like, pick shit up out of the yard and hit each other with it. And it was legit. It was a lot of fun. And I used to give him the people's elbow, like, 10 times a day. And that kid, it shows now, because I think he's like either killed somebody or in jail, but we basically turned him into a monster, and I feel really bad about it now. So we used to have all these wrestling matches after school, and I remember one day I was like, I'm not going to go wrestle, I'm going to sit home and play Rocket Knight Adventures on Sega. And I remember my friend Anthony, who we used to beat up, somehow my grandmother was like an angel, she still is, and she let Anthony in my house without me knowing. This kid walks into my house while I'm playing Rocket Knight Adventures. He's all fucking busted up and bloody, and basically what happened was all my other friends beat the shit out of him, and then he came to my house and my grandmother gave him like an ice pack and whatever else. And I don't even know, dude. I'm just ranting. And then it was shortly after that where I had my skater phase. I scraped up all of my grandmother's curbs, ruined all the goddamn bushes in the front. She'd probably still kill me to this day. And then basically like 7th and 8th grade were at Old Forge, and it was a lot of dicking around, a lot of getting suspended. Just to give you a perspective, my senior year in high school, I attended high school 28 days out of the entire school year, and I did not go to gym once, and if I did, I didn't dress up, and the rules were if you don't dress up for gym, you automatically cannot pass senior year. Not only was I the biggest class clown who had the fucking best grades of all time, I never took home homework, I never had a backpack, I just crushed tests without studying, I dicked around the whole time, I was that kid. People hated me for it because all the honor students cheated their way to honors. Parasite, I don't know if you're joking, but I'm definitely not gay. I've had a gay experience. It was not my own doing. I was molested by my stepbrother a long time ago, and it kind of changed me for the rest of my life. However, I have no shame in that because, once again, it's all the fucked up shit that's ever happened to me that makes me who I am. I am 100% straight. I am a pussy-eating champion, and there's not much to say about that. So I'm sure things like me hugging, you know, God of Mega Man Infune doesn't really help my justification. But, no, dude, stop apologizing. I'm giving you guys a better understanding of me. I have no shame, dude. So then there was a time, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade, where I went to New Jersey, and my father has been in and out of jail. He left when I was like 8 years old. He moved to New Jersey and opened up a strip club called the Playground Lounge. And my mom would send me on a Marts bus by myself at the age of like 8. So I would go on this Marts bus by myself, a van full of all these old people going to Atlantic City, and I would have my Korn CD player, Limp Bizkit, in my headphones, and I thought I was the coolest guy ever, going to see my scumbag, amazing dad. For the record, I hate his guts. I haven't talked to him in forever. So I used to just get put on a bus. My mom would just kind of send me there, and I would go see my dad for like a weekend or something. So my dad's been in and out of jail multiple times for whether it was drugs. He shot a mailman. Oh, let me tell you that story. So I was at my dad's house, and he married the bartender from the strip club that he worked at. Hold on, this fucking guy. Okay. He married the bartender. Her name was Tina. And they never had kids or anything, but she already had kids. Alicia and Alexandra. Alexandra's also my goddaughter's name. That's another story, though. So, basically what happened was my dad's been in and out of jail multiple times for drugs and shit before this transpired. So my mom was like, Tony Marino, are you sure it's okay that your son can stay with you? You're not gonna, like, fucking sell him or kill him or whatever. So he lived right on the beach, and in Atlantic City, or Ventnor, technically. So, long story short was he married a bartender named Tina, and she worked the midnight shift, like 11 to 7 or some shit. So, when I would be waking up for school or whatever, he would be waiting for her to come home for the night, or in the morning, from third shift. And I guess my dad noticed that every single night, Tina would come home in the morning, and there would always be this car, the same car, following her home every night, okay? So, my dad being my dad, keep in mind, at the time guns were illegal in New Jersey, my dad had a trunk full of fucking weapons, from assault rifles to a shotgun to pistols to fucking a live grenade. He is an ex-military guy. He is completely fucking brainwashed. He has a barbed wire tattoo. He has the Eagle Globe and Anchor. And George Carlin said it best. If you have a barbed wire tattoo, not only are you the biggest bitch of all time, but you should put real barbed wire on your fucking wrist and squeeze it and see how much of a man you are. However, my dad's a complete brainwashed military tool who used to have like these little power trip ego things with me, and he would make me like a robot recite the same things to him every day just to convince him that I knew what he was talking about. So, long story short is, I guess after 3 or 4 times of this person following Tina home every night, my dad dug up one of his guns in the backyard, and I want to try and tell this in the order of events. So, from my perspective, it was 7 in the morning, I'm waking up for school, Tina pulls in the driveway, this car pulls up behind her. I see my dad come from the backyard, getting his buried gun in the backyard, and running, fucking full sprint, out to the front porch. My dad ripped this guy out of the car, fucking pistol whipped the shit out of him. Dude, it's embedded in my brain. Pistol whipped the shit out of this guy just to find out he was a mailman doing his normal routine and he wasn't truly stalking his girlfriend or wife or whatever. So my dad went to jail for pistol whipping brutally the shit out of a mailman who he thought was stalking his wife. So that was like the third time he went to jail. And either before or after that event, I remember it also crystal clear because what I'm about to tell you, you just don't forget as a kid. I'm trying to paint the picture for you. So there was a strip club he worked at called the Playground Lounge. He managed it or part owned it, some shit, I don't care or remember. But, of course, the whole bottom floor was the strip club. It was all the alcohol, all the titties. I was a little kid. I'm like, let me go in there. Let me see. Let me see. And, of course, my dad's like, you can't come in here. There's rules, blah, blah, blah. So I used to sleep on the top floor of this strip club when I used to visit my dad. My mom never knew that I didn't sleep at my dad's house. He had me sleep in a Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket in the top floor of this strip club. So I would sleep in the top floor of the strip club while the place is fucking banging, hopping, whatever, really busy. And one day I stumbled upon VHS recordings of all of the cameras and all of the footage in the strip club, right? So it was like hitting the jackpot growing up. So, of course I didn't tell him or didn't tell anybody, but I used to lay in my Ninja Turtle sleeping bag and watch Cartoon Network, Dexter's Laboratory, Ed, Ed and Eddie. They were my jam growing up. So I used to sleep in the top floor of a strip club while my dad was being a degenerate downstairs, and I would watch all these cartoon shows. And like I said, one day I stumbled upon all of the cameras of all the jiggling titties downstairs. They were all in black and white, but it didn't even matter to me. So I watched them, like all, and I didn't tell anybody. And there was a lot of shit I saw. Like, there was a lap dance cam. There was just the pole cam. It was really grainy and really hard to see. But, dude, when you get something like that, when you're that young, dude, your fucking hard-on's bigger than the goddamn door you walk through. So, hold on, wait. You guys probably think I'm fucking crazy, and I love it. So, let me think. So, once again, I only told that story to tell the next one. So, this is a building. Strip club's down here. I slept up here. Right next to that building, connected to that same building, was a Indian Arabic-owned hoagie shop. I ate fucking hoagies every single day. I don't know how I didn't get sick of them. But right in the middle of Atlantic City, there's bums, homeless people, fucking crack addicts, you name it. I'm like 8, 9, or 10, walking the streets of Atlantic City by myself while my dad thinks that I was upstairs sleeping. I would walk the streets of Atlantic City by myself and make sure that I was up in the sleeping bag by the time he would come up and check on me routinely. So, what happened was, I went to go get a hoagie from this shop, and all of the kids knew me as, Tony Marino's son, and everybody loved me because I was in from Pennsylvania. I was visiting my dad. My dad was a complete degenerate scumbag, and I was, like, something that made him happy, I guess. So, once again, all of that is leading up to the next story, which is, I went to go get a hoagie, and I guess my dad came up to look for me. I wasn't there, and he knew to come check for me in the store. So he found me, and, gave me the ultimatum, like, you're in the middle of fucking Atlantic City, you can get robbed, captured, beat up, whatever, please don't leave again. And that was that. So he used to check up on me even more frequently. And, dude, still to this day, I could probably fucking run around Atlantic City and know everything. Like, I know that place like the back of my hand. So, long story short, even though it's not short, sorry, I'm just trying to get rushed yet. I need to, like, pay attention to farm while I'm doing this. I was walking with my dad into the store, and my dad's like, Anthony, hold on 1 minute, okay? So, 8, 9, 10 years old, your dad tells you to wait outside the Indian Convenient Mart where you get your hoagies. You don't know why, he just tells you to wait outside. He goes in the store, he buys a half-gallon or a gallon glass jug of Tropicana orange juice. Okay? The key word is that it was glass. So my dad comes out of this store after telling me to wait. He's in there, he comes out with this half-gallon jug of Tropicana glass bottle of orange juice. He comes out, he's like, son, hold on a minute. He walks across the street, smashes some fucking dude in the head with this Tropicana orange juice. The guy gets clunked right the fuck out. There's blood, glass, orange juice all over the place. And then he casually walks back across the street, grabs my hand, and we walk back up into the strip club. As if it never happened, okay? Fucking traumatized the absolute shit out of me. And that same day, it was either my birthday or the next day was my birthday. And I guess this is gonna date me. I don't remember how old I was then, but it was either the PS1 or the PS2 was out. And I was like, I need this console, I need it. Dad, please get me a PlayStation. So, my dad being a fucking drug-doing, degenerate, gambling, worthless piece of shit, was like, alright son, I have enough for your PlayStation for your birthday present. However, I could go into this casino, double my money, and get you 2 PlayStations! Of course, as a kid, I'm like, oh, 2 PlayStations? Fucking eyes blew up, and if I thought about it a little longer, I would have realized, what the fuck am I gonna do with 2 PlayStations? So long story short, Dad comes out of the casino, has $0. Son, I'm sorry, we cannot get you anything for your birthday. I lost all of it. I ate peanut butter sandwiches and milk that whole week I was there. He told me basically not to tell my mom anything. So of course I went home and told my mom everything, except watching the titty tapes. But, yeah. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Just know that I had a really interesting childhood. And I remember it was one of the last times I went to visit. I just bought the Drowning Pool CD. Fucking Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Fucking on repeat. Like an asshole, okay? I remember listening to that non-stop. And I think that was the last day I actually saw my dad. So the irony of Drowning Pool is just good. But and then he went to jail for molesting his stepdaughter. So, remember I told you that he was married, or had a girlfriend, I think they were married, to Tina the bartender, who he fucking pistol whipped the mailman? Alexandra and Alicia were her daughters. The little girl was like 8, and Alicia was like 13 or something. He went to jail for molesting the 8-year-old. And, of course, when I found that out, and my mom found that out, this girl was like my stepsister. So, it really fucked with me. And I'm like, wow, my dad is a absolute degenerate scumbag. Not to mention, his brother, my Uncle Nick, so, for like generations, it was Anthony Nicholas, Anthony Nicholas. Every son that was named Nicholas would name their son Anthony, and every person named Anthony would name their son Nicholas, and bottom line. So, my dad's name was Tony Marino, A.K.A. Anthony Marino. I'm gonna die. So his name was Anthony Marino. So technically, I was supposed to be named Nick. And my dad, being my dad, thinking he's tough shit, was like, no, I'm gonna stop this routine pattern bullshit, and I'm gonna also name my son Anthony. So I should have been named Nicholas, which I'm so glad I'm not. So, I should have been named Nick, and I was named Anthony, and where was I going with this story? Oh, so my dad had a brother named Nick. He was a crack addict, drug dealing, gambling, basically a worse version of my father. And, hold on, I don't want to die. And one of the only things I could remember about him was I remember my dad making a joke to him because my uncle was on food stamps. And I remember my dad saying that he wanted me to go put his food stamp card under his work boots so he would never find it. And then after growing up, I found out that that was like a global joke, and now I'm like, wow, my dad was fucking pathetic. So, the only reason I'm telling you about my scumbag uncle was he stole... Do you guys know... Wait, hold on. This is a little loud. Do you guys know, like, when you're on the highway and you see those giant tractor trailers that have, like, 10 to 20 cars on them? Like, they're clearly taking them somewhere. Like, whether it's a new dealership or a junkyard or whatever. But my Uncle Nick stole one of those giant tractor trailers with a shitload of Mercedes on them. And I think he got through 7 states before he got arrested. But he stole one of these giant fucking trucks, loaded up with cars, and I don't know where he was trying to go, but apparently he knew somebody was going to buy them off him. All stolen, of course. So he didn't make it very far. He got arrested for trying to steal one of those. And that was the last time I heard of him. And keep in mind, my dad and uncle are complete degenerate scumbags, probably still to this day. However, my dad's dad, named Nick, do I want that? No. Loaded. Absolutely loaded, okay? He robbed, not literally robbed casinos, but he was so good at gambling, he fucking was in newspapers. Every casino knew who he was. He got a write-up in the newspaper for being the #1 con man in New Jersey. They said he could sell ice to Eskimos. That is how good my grandfather was at being a gambling con artist, fucking piece of shit. So, everyone in New Jersey knew the name Nick Marino, and I don't know if he was in the mafia, I don't know what he was. He had more money than he knew what to do with, and every fucking casino knew who he was and basically tried to stay away from him because he would take your money and not look back. So, if somebody writes something in the newspaper that's saying you can sell ice to Eskimos, you better believe he's like top of the line, okay? So I would go see this guy, and of course I was a greedy fat piece of shit growing up, so I was like, Papa Nick, let's go to the toy store, buy me every goddamn Mega Man figure, Ninja Turtle, you name it. Also, let me bring a little positivity into the story. I used to have Drill Man, Snake Man, Proto Man, Mega Man, and Rush. I had those 5 Bandai figures, and you load up the missile in them and you shoot it. For some reason, I remember putting Drill Man in the freezer with bubble gum at the end of his drill. I have no idea why, guys. This is just what I remember. But apparently I put Drill Man in the freezer with bubble gum at the end of his drill, and I would kill to have that figure. I still don't have Drill Man to this day. So I used to play with all those figures and stuff, and my grandfather would be like, alright, Anthony, you're in town, let's go to the toy store, you know the deal, let's spoil you rotten. So, eventually one time I go down, and I'm like, hey, Papa Nick, let's go to the toy store, because, you know, I'm spoiled and greedy, and I expect things from you now. So, I go down there, and I find out that he's in the hospital, and my aunt... Oh, here's another crucial part. His wife was my grandmother and my aunt. Apparently, there's 2 sides of my family. There's the Taffer side, which is my mother, and then there's the Marino side, which is my father. Every single Marino has been in jail, or has died, or has been on drugs. Every Tafra is very successful, works very hard, and is very honest. So, there's a reoccurring theme here, okay? So, put it this way, when my parents got divorced, if I were to stay with my father, I would have probably been dead or on drugs at the age 15. Yeah, Warpipe, no one got the notification, so, sorry. I don't really know what I can do about that. 1414, 1416's next. I already forgot to write somebody off. I think it was this scumbag, wasn't it? Oh no, it was, was it Chillman? I think so. But either way, to this day still, every Marino side of the family, like I said, has been in jail, been on drugs, whatever. and my mom's side are complete angels. And it was about 2 months ago that my Papa Nick, my dad's dad, actually died. So my grandmother slash aunt was more than relieved when he died because he was basically smothering her. And recently, my father reached out to my mother on Facebook and tried to get in contact with me, which is not a good idea. But he died like a month or two ago or some shit. And like the whole family was relieved that he died. Sheep man, please. And I found out, and I had like, my mom was like, "So your Papa Nick's dead," and I was just like, "Well, such is life, you know." But I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with any of this. I'm just trying to. I guess the moral is I had a really fucked up childhood, and I would not change a thing. I wouldn't change a single thing. And I probably only touched on like half of it, some stuff. The point being is, it might not seem it at the time, but everything truly does happen for a reason. And I have no shame, dude. Hold on, I'm gonna die. So like I said, I would redo it all over again if I had to become the person I am today. Not to sound cocky or anything. I mean, once again, I don't give a fuck what you think personally. But I am not the smartest person I know, but I have a one-up on a lot of people. Whether it's from tripping on mushrooms and meeting God, so to speak, to just everything that I've soaked in throughout the course of time. I read people like books. I'm kind of a visionary in the fact that people are so fucking predictable, I could probably tell them what they're gonna fucking have tomorrow for breakfast. So, it's stuff like all those traumatizing experiences make you question everything in life. Everything. So, when you're growing up questioning everything in life, you eventually start to get a good idea on what's true and what's being force-fed to you. So, at a very early age, I realized a lot of people were bullshit. And a lot of ideas and things were bullshit. So I learned to form my own ideas. And I remember being in the backseat of my car, or someone's fucking car. Couldn't even tell you who. Actually, I could. My grandfather picked me up from 4th grade, Pittston area. I remember looking in the window and seeing my reflection. And I saw my seatbelt and the radio, the lights on the radio. And I was like, who the fuck is that? That's me. But if that's me, then who am I here? And the concept of the mirror and the reflection really fucked with me growing up. Still kind of does to this day. So I remember, I don't want to say thinking about alternate dimensions and shit growing up, but I kind of was. I was like, if that's me, and like, you're clearly there, like I'm looking at myself, like, what's going on? So shit like that made me question a lot of stuff. And of course, being force-fed going to Catholic school, it's really not a good mix. So, no religion is the best religion, I guess is a moral, I could say. Form your own opinions. Don't get fucking hit by pink bikes! And I think you'll be in good shape. So, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna stop ranting about my miserable life. And thank you guys for sticking around and fucking being like, wow, this guy's an idiot. He's been through some shit, and wow, he's fucking crazy. So, yeah, as much as I'm probably still going to wind up ranting, I kind of want to just have some fun and talk to you guys, because no one said anything in the last hour of my rant. But yeah, I respect you guys, I love you guys, and if you also dealt with anything as life-changing growing up, I'm not asking you to share it, I'm simply asking you to appreciate it. And look back on it not as a crutch, but as a strength. You should not have any regrets in life. But yeah, how are you guys doing? I need like 8 cigarettes now. I need to call my dad and tell him to fuck off. Oh, another thing. Apparently, my dad tried getting in contact with my mother via Facebook like a week ago or some shit. And basically he told my mother, he told my mother that he has a dog and he lives on the beach again and he wants to move to Florida, which she fucking better not have told him I'm considering moving to Florida or we're probably gonna be in jail. But she said that my father told her that he would buy his dog like real grown men meals while my dad would wait in the food line to get like cheese or some shit. So right now, I have no idea how old my dad is, but he's somewhere in this miserable country, amazing country I should say. He's just miserable. And his dog is eating like a king and he is in a food line. So that's kind of fucked up. She told me that and I wanted to be shocked, but I wasn't. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who fucking pistol whips mailmen. And lets this kid fucking run around Atlantic City. Oh, shoutouts to Jitneys. Dude. Jitneys in Atlantic City are the shit, dude. They're like, I don't know, like 10-seat little buses, and you pay... Yeah, this is a little bus. You pay, I don't know, like $3.50, $4 or something. And there's like no doors on them and they just take you places. I don't know why, but Jitneys fascinated me as a kid. Alright, I'm done ranting. I had such a miserable life. But yeah, I'm almost at 1500 already. I have been on autopilot this complete time. So I apologize if I've been stopping to farm like crazy, but when I don't think about this game and shut my brain off, I kind of know what I have to do, and farming is a part of it, so I'm sorry if that's boring to watch. It's boring to play. I forgot about that sample. But yeah, I guess in case I do start ranting again, I don't want to, but once again, moral of the story is everything truly happens for a reason. Don't regret anything in this life. And question everything. Except Mega Man. Don't fucking question Mega Man. Ever. How do you come to terms with peace and all that? Well, that's a good question. After a while, you get such a mental burden that you're almost forced to be a chameleon and be able to adapt to anything. So, I'm convinced to this day, and I've proved it many times over, that I can adapt to any environment at any time. As miserable as it is, to how good as it is. Basically, like Maynard said, you just swim through the energy of life, and I've learned to be selfless and not selfish. So... basically, there comes a time where you have no choice but to succumb to all the shit that's happening and just accept it. So I did that a long time ago. And you just kind of ride the waves, man. That's all you do. And another story that reminds me of is... this. I'm going to tell this and then go have 14 fucking cigarettes. So, one positive thing was, growing up, my dad had this nasty Jeep Wrangler. It was fucking so sick looking, right? He would take the doors off, the fucking hood off. He would take the whole thing off, so it was just basically a fucking steering wheel on wheels. You guys know how Jeep Wranglers are. So, I'm actually going to tell this story and then have a smoke. My heart's fucking going nuts. I don't know why. But, basically, I was in Scranton. My dad had an apartment in Pennsylvania. And I was in this Jeep with him. Had no doors, no roof, no nothing. It's crucial to the story. We were on a major highway, and my dad, being the unresponsible POS that he is, ran out of gas. It was pouring, drenching, fucking flooding, most extreme rain weather conditions you could think of. So I was in this Jeep with no doors, no hood on, probably in fucking shorts and a t-shirt. It was absolutely fucking downpouring where I had puddles this big on my feet in the Jeep. The whole Jeep was getting ruined. Run out of gas. My dad leaves me in this fucking pouring, raining, wet Jeep to walk however far on the highway to use one of those call boxes. He comes back like 2 or 3 hours later. Whole fucking Jeep's ruined. I'm like shivering in the fucking corner, fucking pouring. And I don't even remember how I got home or how he got gas in that thing. But it was a pretty fucked up experience being stuck on the side of the highway for multiple hours, having no music, no nothing, literally being fucking poured on, almost getting pneumonia because your scumbag father forgot to get gas and went on a part of the highway where you can't just, you know, pull over and get gas. So, it's little situations like that where you kind of adapt to fucking anything. So, because of that, I could fucking probably bury myself in 6 feet of snow and stay there for a decent amount of time and be okay. But yeah, I don't even know where I'm trying to go with the story. It was just amusing that, how could you even let that happen? Like, you know you have fucking a 16th tank of gas, but you're gonna drive on a major highway where there's no fucking off-ramps. Like, what has to go through your mind for that to happen? I don't understand. Anyway, I'm truly fucking done ranting. That's the story of some Mega Marino for you. It's meant to be entertaining. I am not asking you to feel bad. I'm not asking you to appreciate me. All I'm asking is for you to understand that just don't regret anything ever. And like I said, question everything that life gives you. And you will be a better person in the long run. And this song is so good. But anyway, I'm going to get to 1,500. Catch up on chat. Probably tell you guys how much I love you and appreciate your support. And then have a smoke schmiggy. It's the best sample in the song. He's like breathing. Right here, wait. Nope. Wait. I don't fucking know. Alright. 1,500. Oh! That's a story for you when I get back. Actually, I'll make it short and sweet. I found my dad's porn collection one day. My dad, this is where I get it from. It's sickening. My father used to collect Star Wars and G.I. Joe like I collect Mega Man. And you guys know I have a decent Mega Man collection. My dad had sealed 8-inch G.I. Joe figures and had custom figures. He had 2 closets full of sealed G.I. Joes. So that sickness I get from him. Yes, I just called my Mega Man collection a sickness because it is. I truly believe I got that from my dad. My dad was the kind of guy who would buy a $40 plastic machine gun custom made from Japan to put on one of his dolls and not eat for a week. But I found my dad's porn collection one day. I don't remember the names of them, but they were all like foot fetish magazines. And I used to like fucking beat off in the bathroom to these foot job magazines. And I'm not like saying that's where I have my foot fetish, but I guess it kind of is. And it's not like I do have a huge foot fetish, like I don't want to mistake you. I mean, feet are hit or miss. You either have like perfect fucking feet or get them the fuck away from me. Like, it's one extreme or the other. I have more of a dumper fetish than a foot fetish. So, I would rather have someone suffocate me with their dumper than fucking stick their foot in my mouthpiece. You guys, I don't even know what you're thinking, but don't care. You asked, and I'm telling you honestly. Alright, I need a fucking cigarette. Enough of this. Alright. Oh, I had 283 followers, now I only